In this video, I want to show you or want to go over the syllabus for our course. And so if you go to the homepage in our course on Canvas, you will see the syllabus tab over here on the left. So if you click on the syllabus, you should see a link to a PDF for the syllabus. So I'm going to click on that. It downloads a syllabus. I can open that up and it's a PDF of the syllabus and you can see our syllabus. So let me just make this a little bigger for us. And so in the syllabus, again, first it just introduces the course. So it's an Introduction to Statistics, Psych 230. This is our section number. It's 3 credit hours, and it is a live online class that meets on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10:30 to 11:45. It is also a 8-week accelerated course. So we are going to meet from August 25th to October 16th. So it's 8 weeks, 2 meetings per week, so 16 total meetings. In terms of my information, again, my name's Eric Haas. I do have a doctorate. That's what the PhD refers to. So you're welcome to call me Dr. Haas, but you're also welcome to call me Eric. And then also Haas caught on. And so any of those 3 work for me. So it can be Dr. Haas, Haas, or Eric. My email's here. My phone number is my office phone number at work at SCC. So I'm not there in my office, but you can still call it because it will then, if you leave a message, I will get an email with a recording of that message immediately. So don't worry about the office location because we're not on campus. We're going to be doing all our office hour meetings online. And so one of the things is I have office hours on Mondays and Wednesdays from 1:30 to 2:45, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12 to 1:15. To schedule one of those appointments, if you go to Canvas and you click on the Cisco WebEx link here on the left, it should bring up Cisco WebEx, and then we'll see up in the top a link for office hours. I've set up my office hours during those times as 15-minute appointments. So if you want one, so let's say I want this 1 o'clock on Thursday meeting. I confirm that meeting, just click that button. It'll say the meeting's confirmed. It'll send you an email, send me an email, and that email will have a link to WebEx for that meeting. So that's how we're going to set up our office hours appointments. Now, I am also available to meet with you outside of that, and then we can just do that by email. So you can email me, and then we can pick a time, and then I'll send you a link with a link to a way for us to do a video chat, whether we do it through WebEx or Google Meet or something like that, but we can do a video meet. So just if those office hours don't work for you, you can try to schedule something with me outside of that. Also know that there is tutoring available for the class through the Social Behavioral Learning Center, and Jay Hall is the director there, and he does tutoring for this class. And so you can schedule tutoring with him as well. The big advantage with Jay is that he's available a lot more than I am. And so if I'm not available, you can also reach out to Jay to meet and go over some of his questions. Also, he provides his cell number, and you can text him with quick questions or even longer questions, and then he'll get back to you, and then you can schedule a meeting to meet. So that's just something to be aware of. And Jay's going to show up to our first couple class periods, say hi, but he's also going to create a video about the Social Behavioral Learning Center and his tutoring. Now, the course description is just basically we're going to teach you about statistics. There's 2 general types, descriptive and inferential, and we're just going to get into some detail on that. The prerequisites are Psych 101 and Math 092. Basically, the math is not a big issue. This class definitely includes math, but the math we do is not particularly advanced. So as long as you can add, subtract, multiply, divide, square, and square root, you should be okay. And then just follow the order of operations, which many of you know as PEMDAS or Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally, and you should be okay. Course competencies just goes into the details of all the different statistics and things that you're going to have to learn for this course. The textbook. Now, I have a textbook for the course, but please note it is not required. It is recommended. That's because students in the past have often not used the textbook or felt that they didn't need it. My slides for my lectures are pretty detailed. My lectures are pretty informative. And we use this program called WebAssign for homework that is also super, super helpful. So I would say probably more than half of the students don't use a textbook. But it's not a bad idea to have one, and many of you might want one, and many of you might need one. It might be really helpful. So what I'm going to tell you is that the book you want is Essentials of Statistics for the Behavioral Sciences. Graviter and Wallnow, those are the authors. The 8th edition does not matter. You do not need to get the 8th edition. I think they're on the 9th or 10th edition right now, but you do not need to get the most recent edition. You could go back to whatever edition you can get, whatever is cheapest. You can get a 4th edition. That's going to work fine because the formulas haven't changed. So look online, see if you can find a good used copy, a cheap copy. I've seen students get them for $10 bucks, then maybe plus shipping. Sometimes it takes a little while for them to get them if they're that cheap, but often on Amazon you can find them pretty quickly. So just be aware that that is an option for you if you want to buy the textbook. But again, the edition does not matter. The one thing that is required, however, is WebAssign. Now there's going to be a separate WebAssign or a separate video describing how to sign up for WebAssign and also how to use it. You need to have a class key, which is highlighted here. So there's also an announcement on Canvas that shows you how to go about setting that up, or you can watch that video. So, but the beauty of WebAssign is that it's a way for us to do homework that is going to be really beneficial. Students love WebAssign once they kind of get used to it, but it's the one part of the class that's going to cost you money. It costs $22.95 to have WebAssign, but I think you'll find it worth every penny in terms of helping you understand the material for the course. Then next we got course policies. So again, just follow all the student regulations for any Maricopa College student. But then specific to our class, in terms of makeup exams and quizzes, let's say you miss an exam or miss a quiz or problem set, what I do is for the exams, it's 20% penalty for any makeups. So if you miss the exam, like let's say we had an exam today and you say, oh, I'm sorry I missed it, can I take a makeup? I'll be like, yes, of course. It'll just be 20% off, whatever your grade is. So if you get 80%, we just knock 20% off and you get a 60% for the exam. But know that that 20% is only per class period. So if after, like if we had a class today and then by the time we have the next class, if you haven't taken it yet, it'll be another 20% off. And the reason for that is I just simply want you to take the exam as soon as you can after you missed it. The exception to this penalty is if you have a documented excuse. So if you were sick, I need a doctor's note. If you're in court, I need a court summons. If you were in an accident, a car accident, I need an accident report. I need some kind of documentation. And if you have that, then there's no penalty for the makeup. I don't like to have to require the documentation, but it's something that I've learned that is if I don't require that, then what ends up happening is the people who are honest end up getting penalized and the people who are not honest don't get penalized, and that seems backwards to me. So I just require everyone to have documentation, otherwise there's going to be the penalty. And the other thing is that with problem sets, instead of a 20% penalty, it's a 50% penalty. And again, this is me trying to keep you on task and not getting behind in the class. Because if you start to get behind in the class, especially now that it's an 8-week class, you're going to get behind quickly, and that can be bad. And so I want to prevent that. So I want to have a higher penalty just to try to make sure people are keeping up with the class. It's just a matter of doing the work and just making and carving out that time so you can get it done. Know with an 8-week class that it's moving very fast. And so you want to be ready for that, and you want to carve out that time so you can work on it. Now, grading scale, pretty typical grading scale. Also note that I do round up. So if you get an 89.5% in the class, that is an A, but an 89.4 is a B. The assignments for the class basically break up like this. 10% of your grade is attendance and participation in those live online sessions. We're meeting Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10:30 to 11:45. That's 10% of your grade. Problem sets. Every chapter we're going to have a problem set that's worth 15% of your grade. There ends up being about 15 problem sets, not quite. So basically each problem set is worth 1% of your grade. We're also going to have these things called the muddiest points, and that's where every chapter, basically one time there's a combination of 2 chapters, but pretty much every time we have a live online class meeting, we're essentially covering a chapter. I want to know what's muddy to you, what's not clear to you, what's clear to you. And so it's just a quick online through Canvas, 2 questions. What was clearest to you about the material? What was the muddiest and unclear to you? And I'm going to use the muddiest part of that to inform what I cover in class, and especially in those live online classes. So I'll try to clear up any muddy points. We're also going to have some things that I'm referring to as deep dive assignments. This is a chance for us to, in some cases, use some statistical software to try to run some data rather than having to hand calculate it. Other times it's just some exercises or some activities or assignments where we're just trying to deepen your understanding of the meaning of the statistics that we're doing. We'll also have a pretty small, but a research project where you're going to have a chance to gather some data, run statistics on it, and report it. Like essentially work through a bunch of parts of a research project. It's a tiny research project, but it's a research project nonetheless. So you get to answer maybe a research question that you might have. And then finally, there are the exams. Each exam, there's 4 of them total, so each exam is 10% of your grade. So again, what you'll see below here are all the kind of more details about each of the assignments, so definitely check those out. Attending all those live online sessions is part of the attendance and participation. Know with the problem sets, I'm going to drop the 2 lowest problem set grades for the semester. And then the other thing to know is that with the problem sets, you're going to see that there are 3 versions of every problem set. And I'm going to end up taking the highest of the 3 grades. And that way you sort of can maximize your points by doing problem sets multiple times. You don't have to do all 3 problem sets. If like you did the first one and you got a grade that you're happy with, you can stop. You can leave the other ones blank. You'll get zeros on them, but won't matter because you'll get whatever grade you got on that first one. But I always suggest that you consider doing all 3 of them, because the more you practice, the more this becomes second nature and you're going to do better on the tests. The muddiest points, again, were those 2 questions. Real easy to get the points, just do it. Doesn't matter what your questions or what you found clear and what you found muddy. Just answer those questions. Shouldn't take you more than a couple minutes. The deep dive assessments, again, those are going to kind of come throughout the semester. And a lot of them I'm going to try to do during some of our live online sessions, but then some of them will be done outside. And then finally there we got a research project, which again, I'll give you more detail. This is going to be due towards the end of the semester. And then our 4 exams. Those are the last 2 assignments. A couple things just to know. Response time, if you email me, I'll get back to you usually the same day if it's Monday through Thursday, or often Monday through Friday. And then on weekends, it just might take a couple more days. I might not be able to get back to you until Monday if I'm out camping or something, which is unlikely, but it's possible. And then attendance. Oh, and then in terms of grading, most of the problem sets get automatically graded by WebAssign, but I won't manually enter those into Canvas, which I have to do often until some period after that. So don't expect them to show immediately up into Canvas. But I'll get things graded within a week at the latest, and most of the time it's going to get graded really pretty quickly. And then finally, attendance policy. I do expect you to be there. If you miss more than 3 class periods, I can withdraw you from the course at that point. That's just too much, especially with an 8-week class. That's missing a lot of the class. So if you intend to stay in, I'm just going to have to withdraw you. But if you really want to stay in, reach out to me, because otherwise I'm going to withdraw you because I have to. It's sort of a requirement that we have at SCC. Last thing just to know about is that this course is 3 credit hours. And this is where this might be a little scary. But a 3 credit hour course, the way we think about a 3 credit hour course is during a normal 16-week semester, that should be meeting about 3 hours a week if we were in person. So what we typically say is for every hour that you meet in person, you should be planning on spending 2 hours outside of that for homework. So if it's a meeting 3 hours a week, you should be planning on spending 6 hours outside of class. Well, that's for a 16-week semester. So imagine now we've got an 8-week accelerated course. So that means that we should be meeting ideally 6 hours a week together. And then you should be spending 12 hours outside of class. So that adds up to 18 hours a week on the class. Now, of that 6, 3 of it's going to be us doing those live online sessions. The other 3 might be you watching some of those lecture videos or participating in some of the activities. And then you should also be planning on doing homework and so on. So just know that this is sort of what we expect, the amount of time you're going to need to spend in order to be successful in this course. It is fast and it's going to move fast, but I think you can learn it. You just got to carve out that time. Ideally, with these 8-week classes, you should ideally only be taking 1 or 2 other classes at the same time. That way you can focus on each of those classes and it will actually go really well because you get the time to just kind of focus in on 1 or 2 topics. But some of you might be taking 3, 4, 5 classes because some of your classes might be 16 weeks, some are only 8 weeks. That's where it's going to get a little bit hard. And so you want to just be aware of that, and you're going to really have to carve out the time for this course because it is, again, I want to warn you, it's going to move fast. All right, so that's the syllabus. And so hopefully that was helpful to you. And again, look for the other videos about WebAssign and how to navigate Canvas and so on. Thanks.